Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. Today we're doing the what's next on Andy Ruiz Jr., the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, following his harder than expected 12-round decision win over Chris Arreola, where Arreola
turn right onto the California 41 South ramp.
Where Arreola actually put him down in that fight in the second round. And actually gave him a really good fight. Ruiz came in, trimmed down, better shape, all that kind of stuff, but he still had to work very hard in that fight to pull off the win, and he got the win. Nobody's really complaining about it. He outworked Arreola, but Arreola's a 40-year-old, former world title challenger, and he's passed
onto the California 41 South ramp, then merge onto California 41 South.
That dude's always been a gamer who's willing to take shots and can take shots. He actually has a really good chin. So, in a sense, I'm not really surprised at the fact that this fight went the distance, but I am surprised that Ruiz got touched up and hit as much as he did. But I'm attributing part of that to the fact that what's his name is not, Ruiz can get hit. He's always been susceptible to getting hit, to taking shots. But, I'm not surprised because, he's still learning the style of what's his name. He's still learning Eddie Reynoso's style. He came into Canelo's gym. He's still learning. He's trimming down. And, it's not easy to switch trainers and to go to a new style, especially while you're getting in a lot better shape. So, not surprised. But following that win, the big question now is what's next for Andy Ruiz Jr. So I'm going to run through the top 10 and see what Andy Ruiz could possibly be doing next. Because for me, watching him go on pay-per-view and just kind of the notoriety that Andy Ruiz has since the win over Anthony Joshua, I was on the fence about who should be my number 12 fighter of the of the top 12 fighters in boxing in terms of must-see fighters. This is not a pound-for-pound list. My must-see fighters in boxing. And Andy Ruiz is number 12 for me. He made that list now because the draw that he has. So, he's got a lot of pulls. So let's run through the top 10 and see what he could possibly be doing in the second half of 2021. So we start with the number one heavyweight in the world right now, and that is the undefeated Tyson Fury. Well, Eddie Hearn just said today that it looks like August 7th, 14th is going to be the first of the two fights between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. First fight for the undisputed title. So we already know that a fight with Tyson Fury is not possible for Andy Ruiz. Possibly if Fury were to dominate and then have to fight somebody else, but I think if it's not going to be Joshua again next, he would probably end up fighting somebody, probably end up rematching Deontay Wilder. I don't see him fighting a guy like Andy Ruiz, but he could because Ruiz has a big name, so he might, go after that. But as of right now, I don't see it because I really believe we're going to see a showdown between Fury and Joshua, the first one, and then the second one. And I think Andy Ruiz, the timeline wouldn't even match up, so he'll get a fight in before a potential rematch. So I don't see him in Tyson Fury. Number 2, unified champ Anthony Joshua, which would be a rubber match between the two. I'm not ruling out that this fight's going to happen someday. I just don't think it's going to happen next. So, as we said, it's in the contract for Ruiz to fight. For Joshua and Fury to fight 2 times. First fight likely taking place early next year now, but they're supposed to fight twice. Even if they don't, win or lose, does Joshua want to fight Ruiz a 3rd time? Maybe, but I'm leaning towards a no. Okay, so Number 3 is Deontay Wilder. Now, here's a fight that I think potentially could take place. And the reason I say that is it was already a news thing, it was news about the possibility of this fight already. They had already mentioned that these two guys could lock horns next, or later this year. Now, they said that Deontay Wilder could possibly be taking step-aside money, instead of fighting Fury next. Now, if Deontay Wilder is truly the number one contender for the WBC title, and he has to fight the winner of Fury and Joshua, well, Fury and Joshua have signed a 2-fight contract, so I don't think he's going to get that rematch with Fury next. So I honestly feel like...
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 126A for California 99 South toward Bakersfield, Los Angeles.
I honestly believe that there's a very good possibility that the WBC title goes vacant and Deontay Wilder fights Andy Ruiz for the vacant title. I think that's a real possibility. I think it could happen next. And I really wouldn't be surprised if that fight took place. So, pay attention for that one. Because I really think, as I said, that's a strong possibility that we're going to be seeing that fight happen in the second half of this year. So, pay attention. Andy Ruiz is number 4 for me. Number 5 is Dillian White again. Ruiz and Dillian White have been talking shit to each other for the longest time, but will they fight each other next, Dillian White had a big win avenging his knockout loss to Povetkin last year. He knocked Povetkin out in a rematch, and now, wants something bigger. Now, he's called Andy Ruiz out. Can Eddie Hearn make this fight?
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 126A for California 99 South toward Bakersfield, Los Angeles.
Especially if Deontay Wilder, the number 1 contender, decides he wants to fight, for the title next, and he doesn't fight White or
right 2
Ruiz,
lanes to take exit 126A.
He goes in a different direction because he wants to shake off some rust or whatever. What's his name? White is the interim champion.
California 99 South for 18 miles.
White being the interim champ, White could say, well, hey, let's fight for the interim belt. The winner gets Wilder. So I think that is a possibility, Ruiz and Dillian White. I think it could happen. I really do. Number 6 is Alexander Usyk. I'm not seeing this one. Usyk is in line to fight for the vacant WBO title. I say vacant because I believe after Fury and Joshua decide the Undisputed Championship, I believe the winner is going to vacate or be stripped of the WBO title because Usyk is in line to fight for the belt. He's a number 1 contender, but neither one of these guys, they have a contract to fight each other again in a rematch. So I don't think they're going to be interested in facing Usyk. So I think Usyk, either way is going to be fighting for the WBO title next, and I don't see him and Andy Ruiz locking horns because of that. Number 7 in the world right now is, I believe I got Joseph Parker at number 7 now, following his recent win over Derek Chisora. So, a fight with Parker, which would be a rematch for Andy Ruiz, I don't see him being interested in this fight. Although I think it'd be a good one, I just don't think Ruiz wants to take that chance when he has so many other bigger and better options, in terms of name recognition. Parker's number 7, number 8 in that area. The other guy who floats between 7 and 8 is Luis Ortiz. Now, this is a fight that Andy Ruiz wanted, and called out last year. It almost happened. The real King Kong, Ortiz, was there at the fight, and Andrew Ruiz said after the fight that he would be down. It's up to the promoters. Well, you know, they have the same promoter. They have the PBC. Both of them do. It's an easy fight to make if this is the fight that Andrew Ruiz really wants. Ortiz is down. Is Andrew Ruiz down? That's the big question. So we got to see. I think this fight is possible. I really do. I think it could happen. But I would not be surprised if Andrew Ruiz does what most heavyweights have done the last 5 years and avoid Luis Ortiz. I would not be surprised at all. Number 9, 10, 11, or number 9, 10. These guys are all kind of floating around the top 10 right here. What's his name? I forget the guy that fought Tyson Fury a couple years ago and fought him hard. He just fought recently. God, I can't remember the guy's name. But he, you know, I'm not sure. Andrew Ruiz, God, I'm not even going to call him an option. Michael Hunter is another option, but I don't know. Hunter's a promotional free agent. I think it's a win if Ruiz fights him, but does Ruiz want to stay on that level, or does he want to fight somebody with a bigger name? That's the big question. Alexander Povetkin coming off that loss to Dillian White. Is that a fight that Ruiz even wants to take a chance on? Probably not. And I want to say that's pretty much it in terms of the top 10. And Derek Chisora. You know, Chisora lost to Parker. I would doubt that Ruiz wants to fight him, but Derek Chisora is an option for everybody. He's there to be hit. That would be a fun fight between him and Ruiz. But I think Ruiz is susceptible to those punches. And, you know, if Chisora catches him with the right one, that could be all she wrote. So, not sure that's the fight that you know, Andrew Ruiz would want. So, Ruiz, the thing about him is he has a lot of options. He's a big name. I do think Deontay Wilder is a very real possibility. I think Dillian White's a possibility. And I think Luis Ortiz is a possibility. So as long as he doesn't take a step back in terms of names and want just like another tune-up bout, and maybe he does. But if he doesn't want that, I think any one of those three names could happen, and maybe they should happen. So we'll see. We'll see, though. But that's the what's next on the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andrew Ruiz Jr. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.